Thank you so much again, giving that full perspective, the TSTT journey and experience, of course, all the promotional design, the fact that they were able to be agile in this ever-changing time, the use, of course, of communication to connect, the transparency, and all in between. We want to continue as we transition now. This particular presentation, it's about empowering the Caribbean's digital future, Calix, and their role in broadband transformation. It's a chance to explore how Calix is partnering with Caribbean service providers to accelerate broadband access, enhance subscriber experiences, and build resilient networks. Give me, again, let's give a warm welcome coming to the lectern to present this morning the Area President, Success Calix. Let's give a warm welcome to Christina Wilson, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure in my first time to be at Kanto, and I have to say I have learned more about the Caribbean in 3 days than I thought I would ever know. So thank you so much for the privilege of being here. And it doesn't look like I got the clicker. Yep, thank you. Thank you. So today we're going to talk about the power of disruption. And I think every single time we've heard someone get up, it has really rang true with me where we are at in today's telecom industry. You all have done the due diligence and are continuing to do the due diligence of building a fantastic highway. We heard the Prime Minister talk about building out the network for your countries to allow your citizens and subscribers to connect and be connected to essential services, education, and connecting families. And I'm fortunate to come after Mr. Graves, who was talking about experiences and digital experiences and cultures, because that's what we're going to talk about today. It's more than just connectivity. I love that the previous speakers have talked about that connectivity isn't a luxury today, it's essential. And so when you think about now we've got our subscribers connected, what's the next step? What do subscribers expect and deserve? And so, as you're building out this highway, your subscribers are traveling on it, and their ability to go fast or slow is really dependent upon the packages and services that they are allowed to purchase from you. And as they get on there, like on the Autobahn, it's capable of going really, really fast. And it's only determined, the experience is only determined by really the type of car that they're traveling in, which might be the products and services that you deliver to them. No one driving on it knows that you did all of the hard work to build the network, and it's simply the roadway that allows and enables the driver's experience to get to the products and services and the experiences that they are looking to achieve. The problem is that you guys have done the work to build the network, but oftentimes you don't get the brand recognition that you should, and that's what I want to talk about today. So as you look forward and take your businesses forward, building out your strategies for the experiences that you're going to design and deliver to your subscribers, are you going to pivot to the left and lock into technology, or are you going to pivot to the right and deliver the experiences that your customers are looking to achieve? And I love that the previous speaker talked about culture, purpose, and giving back, because that's what it's really about. As I travel the globe and go from South Africa to London to North America to Canada, what we see in the industry is that subscribers are looking to do more, connect more. And as the different products and services like Netflix, Apple TV, Uber, Disney, Amazon, and Peloton, it changes the way that they want to connect and had those experiences. Oh, hold on, it's going forward but not on the screen. So let's talk about, this is not the first time that disruption in any industry has happened. I already gave the clues ahead, sorry about that. But the first time was, think back and raise your hand, who in the room had a flip phone? How many of you had a flip phone? I remember I had middle school daughters, 3 of them, who had to have the Razor. They thought it was the savior of everything. It was going to deliver the experience they wanted. And then Mr. Jobs came along in 2007 and changed the game. He told us that it would be like having a computer in your hand. He said you would be able to listen to your music, connect to your family, send email, do work. Most of us are on a smartphone today doing work in this room as we listen to the respective speakers come up. It also happened in hospitality, and this is something that most of you are probably going to be pretty familiar with. Airbnb revolutionized the travel industry. Think back before there was an Airbnb or online travel services. You would phone up a travel agent, tell them where you wanted to go, what you like to do, maybe what you like to eat. They would build an itinerary for you, bring it back to you with your tickets, and off you would go. Online travel came alive, and Airbnb, the app in your hand, came about, and now you can choose a home that fits your entire family in a destination you want to go to, and now they're doing it again. They're adding experiences. Why? It brings more value to their brand and to the services that they offer. Airbnb, this is important to note too, in the Bahamas alone, there are 7,000 to 8,000 Airbnb listings. And across the Caribbean, while exact figures are not available, it's estimated that 300,000 Airbnb listings exist today in the Dominican, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, and the Bahamas. No industry, especially telecom, is immune to disruption and the demands of the changing needs of our customers and our subscribers. And so I want to tell you a little bit about how my family, as you see in the picture here, is a global family, and I want you to raise your hand how many of you have family members that live in more than one country. Look across the room. We are a global community. What does that mean when we choose to connect with our family? There are some foundational things, and I'm going to tell you some statistics today, not to scare you, but cause you to think differently about what you're taking to market to your subscribers. First thing, I want to tell you about my family. I'm pretty proud of them. Part of my family lives right here in Nassau, Bahamas. Part lives in Canada. Another part of them are in Mexico. I have family in Palestine and Lebanon. And so when we want to connect, and as you can squint and see, there is a brand new baby girl in that picture, my first granddaughter. I now have 2. This was last Christmas. We want to FaceTime almost every day. We connect and see how much they've changed since last week. I wouldn't miss that for the world. And so when my babies are online, there's a couple of foundational things that are important to us. First and foremost is that every device that's in the home is protected from malicious malware, ransomware, and viruses that will corrupt the devices. How many of you have heard the story about the baby monitor in the baby's room that was hacked at night and a gentleman was speaking to the child at night? That's scary. Secondly, when my babies get online, as they get older, they're not old enough yet, but their parents will want to first allow them to connect to the good websites, to go to content that is wholesome and provides educational opportunities. Second, we'll want to make sure that they're not online too much. Let's say I have a teenager. I don't want them on TikTok 17 hours a day. Probably most of you don't either. So you'll want to be able to limit their time online and limit their time on individual apps. And if you have someone who is maybe a gamer or busy online watching TikTok or filming themselves doing dances online, you may want to get them to the dinner table. The fastest way to do that is to turn the internet off between 6 and 7. They will come running. And so certain apps that we provide called Experience IQ provide that ability. And it is wonderful to hear our customer stories of how they have used it to make and enrich their lives better. Last but not least, how many of you work from home? Hopefully this is not too interactive. Look at the hands across the room. That is a growing trend in the industry. When you're working from home, if you have kids out of school for the summer and they're gaming in the basement on their gaming consoles, and all of a sudden your Zoom meeting starts buffering and you're chopping out. You don't want that to happen. So device prioritization is really, really important. If I'm FaceTiming with my granddaughter in the Bahamas or in West Florida, I don't want that FaceTime to be interrupted. And so it's important to have device prioritization, which means that I can select a device in my home where the bandwidth goes first, and then all the rest of the folks in the home can use it, what's left over, if I have a smaller package or less than a gig, let's say. And so, some statistics that I want to leave you with that are really, really important, not to scare you, but across the globe, there are over 300 million instances of sexploitation and sexual images that are presented to our children. It's important that we protect them against that. 1 in 8 children worldwide have experienced non-consensual sharing of exposure to sexual images. They just happen to hit a website that they shouldn't have. Online solicitation, which is terrible, affects hundreds of millions of children annually. This is important. This is a value that you guys need to be thinking about offering to your subscribers as you go to market. And last but not least, we have heard a lot about AI and the good things that AI will bring to us. To Calix, we are AI forward, will be tremendous. But there will be bad actors. And AI-generated deep fakes to create false sexual images of children is an emerging trend that has to be stopped. And we will want to protect each and every subscriber from that. So, what would it take to serve your customers in a new way, and respond to the emerging trends that are hitting the market? Well, at Calix, we faced the same dilemma a couple of years ago, and we've been working on this now for several years. And what we did was build for your subscribers across all market segments solutions that meet these needs. What I love about the solutions is that they are modular. Think about having plug-and-play devices that don't require different firmware. I don't know if any of you have had to do sequenced upgrades, but that can be a tremendous load on your support staff. Think about low cost of ownership. Data-driven insights, and I loved Mr. Graves talking about marketing to the right people at the right time. If I'm a gamer, I do not want to receive a blast of a go-to-market package that tells me that I can stream all day long. I want to know that I'm a gamer and buy the right package. If I'm a family, I want to know that I'm keeping my family safe. And with our cloud, Calix Cloud, you will be able to tell who in your network is a gamer, a streamer, and a work from home, and deliver packages to them at the right time with the right marketing messages of value and experience. So let's talk about our residential. Our smart home solution provides a branded app that has your brand on it. You'll never see Calix first and foremost. It will be your brand. It will be BTC or whomever, whatever organization you represent in the hand of the subscriber. It will protect them with Experience IQ and allow them to go to content that is wholesome and good for them. It will also, with Protect IQ, protect every single device in the home that is connected to the network, which is really, really important. And also through that app, we call it Command IQ, but most providers personalize it with their own branding and colors. You are able to send out notifications about new packages and emerging value that you can bring to them. You can send out community messages, new Wi-Fi spaces that you've turned up across the city or across multiple communities, and let them know that that's available. Think about this, if you have an outage, no one ever does, but if you have an outage, you might be able to notify them and let them know that you're working on it, not to call in, so that you reduce your cost to serve. With Smart MDU and across the Caribbean, I would imagine that most MDUs are going up. There are more and more we see in North America is a huge trend. And with Smart MDU, it allows a couple of things. It accounts for the revolving kind of residents moving in and out, the ease of turning up service and turning it back down. It also allows the property manager to help service and support the people living in that multi-dwelling unit. It also creates open Wi-Fi spaces in those units so that they can connect and roam throughout the property at ease. SmartBiz, one of our most popular solutions now in North America and in the UK, is a service built for 1 to 50 employees, maybe a little bit bigger than that, but it provides 4 unique networks for that small business owner. Let's say you have a coffee shop. You want to have your customers come in and connect to Wi-Fi. You capture their email for future marketing opportunities to them. They're safe and secure because it's also protected with Protect IQ and Experience IQ, so you can block unwanted content. You don't have people in your business connecting to material that might be suspicious. And they can come in and freely get on your Wi-Fi and have a delightful experience. The second network is a point of sale network that is safe and secure. Your point of sale is protected from ransomware, which we've heard a lot of small businesses in North America and beyond have had those attacks. But it also then has a failover where if the network should go down, you can dedicate a device that automatically allows it to fail over so small business owners don't lose revenue. The third network that is provided with SmartBiz is a network for the employees. Now think about this. You don't want your employees that are working from you connecting to Facebook, TikTok all day long. You want them doing their work. So you can block those things. And then last but not least, it is a backbone network for the owner to run the business, do their accounting, and make sure that their data is kept safe and secure. And then last but not least, I want to talk about Smart Town. We heard the Prime Minister speak on Sunday about turning up public Wi-Fi spaces. In North America, we have had several of our community providers turn up Smart Town utilizing the gigaspires that are in the home and then also outdoor units. And as their subscribers roam around their communities up to 40 miles away from their home, they stay connected to the Wi-Fi network. Imagine that happening, especially in rural areas or remote areas where you have trouble getting service. Sometimes cellular service is even limited. And what we've now started seeing, and I would love to see this happen through the Caribbean, is as communities get turned up, you can create a Smart Town Alliance so that they roam from community to community, staying connected to free Wi-Fi. Smart Town has also developed some stuff for education that allows, EduRoam is what it's called, allows educators to connect underserved communities to educational resources and Wi-Fi service. And as you see, we have multiple systems down below. I won't drain those, but our Calyx Cloud is a wonderful tool that encompasses 3 distinct engines. One is a marketing engine and an engagement engine that allows you to extract data-driven insights from your subscribers so that you know who to send the right marketing message to and how to offer them a value-added package. It also has Service Cloud or Support Cloud, and that allows your teams, when a call comes into the support center, to quickly resolve issues and get them on their way. In future and even today, we can tell who is having low scores and service them before they even know that they're having issues. And last but not least, Operations Cloud. This allows you to know which devices are having trouble out in the field. It allows you to know the health of your network and take proactive steps to resolve them before they become an issue. It really is all about delivering exceptional experiences, and that's what today's customers and subscribers demand. One of the things that hit home with me, the Prime Minister was speaking, and he was talking about digital colonization. In North America, we see a lot of service providers like ourselves coming in and offering very low-cost systems and even offering free support services to get their systems in your home. But what they don't tell you behind the scenes is that they are extracting the data from your subscribers. At Calix, we'll never do that. Your subscribers' data is yours to use as you need to. Don't let that Trojan horse come in. And it rang true when he talked about the digital colonization. That's how it begins. They come in, they extract the data from your subscribers, and then they either use it for their own nefarious intention or use it to earn money for themselves. You deserve to be able to serve products and services that grow your ARPU. They're your subscribers. Own them and keep them. The last thing that I'll talk about, which is really my role at Calix, is once you purchase anything from us, we have an expert, kind of an army of experts that we've been building over the last 8 years. We don't let you walk away without being successful. The most important thing that we do is we capture what your business outcomes and desires are, what you're looking to achieve, how fast you're looking to go, and then we bring to bear an army of experts to help you do that each and every day, all along the way. And so I want to encourage you to think about, as this industry transforms and disrupts, will you just simply be that highway that people travel and a technologist, or will you deliver the experiences to your subscribers that they're looking to achieve? Thank you so much for having me today, and thank you again for letting me experience my first Kanto.
Thank you so much again to Christina Wilson, and of course, not only did we get the technical perspective, we also got a personal touch. By all means, her first Kanto, just like yours truly. Let's continue. Couple other major talking points. Of course, this time around where AI meets telecom. And for what's next, we welcome the marketing global head, a matter of fact, SD Technologies, Manoj Jan. Stepping forward, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Jan.
Yes, thank you. Okay, good morning, everyone. So each one of us has been talking about AI a lot, right? Every day we hear something new comes up in the AI. So for us as telecom industry, how AI can help, how AI is evolving, that is what I'm going to show in next 10, 15 minutes. Now, if you look at what are the key challenges, why AI is trying to step into the telco as an industry. There are few very important points that is happening. Every operator, every telco, every CSP has been struggling to retain their customers. Now, we all know how important it is to retain an existing customer because the cost of acquisition is always higher than the cost of retention. So it is it's a common problem with all of us that how to retain the existing customers. The second is we have data. huge amount of data about the consumers. Are we, monetizing it correctly? So that is the second issue that we have. Third is a lot of waste happens, with our operations. Can we do something about it? Can we reduce this operational waste using some kind of technology and intelligence? The next is revenues. Of course, one of the common problems that we see across everywhere is the revenue growths are stagnant. Every operator with whom we meet talks about how to increase the ARPU, how to increase the revenue, what more we can do about this to get, generate more value from these customers. And the last but not the least is service. Can I provide a very good service to my customer so that he does not leave me? And of course, when the customer does not leave, the ARPU automatically increases and the lifetime value increases. So these are 5 broad areas, which every operator is struggling today. And how AI can add value to this area that we are going to see in coming slides. So when we talk about AI, broadly what we as a supplier do is focus on 5 different verticals. First is the engagement layer. Can I do something in the engagement layer? Can I increase my ARPU? Can I increase my retention with the customers using a right set of engagement? The second is service improvements. Can we have service improvements with intelligence built within the platform using AI? The next is efficiency. Can I efficiently use my resources, infrastructure, because the cost of all of this is very, very heavy on the OpEx for the CSPs. And go to market. Can I increase my time to launch, time to react, and time to create the offers, campaigns, and product for my customers? And last is, we all see a lot of security, frauds, everything happening. Can I do something about it? So we have an answer to all of these 5 problems. So let me first talk about engagement. AI, so we have a framework called ARIA. This is an AI fabric and AI engine that ingests data from any and every network element in the ecosystem. Now, when we talk about engagement, it typically starts with the campaign, offers, promotions, but not the simple campaigns and offers, but hyper-personalized as per the customer taste. Now, this has been in industry for quite some time, but with the advent of generative AI and the large language models, it has changed drastically. Now the intelligence levels have increased. So can I do smarter campaigns? Can I do uptime campaigns? So all of this comes as a part of the engagement layer that we do. The second most important thing we talk about is service. Now, anytime a customer calls you, a CSR agent would respond, and it's a cost to you. Can AI help me in proactively finding out the problems? That is what we do. So when a customer calls a CSR agent, instead of the agent trying to solve a problem, find what is the issue, AI can help in pinpointing what is the exact problem. And that actually reduces OpEx cost by 70 to 80%. Because of these automations, the problems can be solved instantly rather than a CSR agent trying to do it manually. The third thing is efficiency. So when we talk about improving the efficiency, how my resources are getting used, what is the forecasting of my resources, when my resources are going to reach up to certain levels, all this planning can come directly from the AI. The next is acceleration to go to market. I mean, today, you want to create products instantly. You want to know what competition is doing. So if you get an intelligence that while creating a product itself, the AI can tell you, hey, so-and-so, you are creating this product. These many customers will opt for this kind of product. There is a competition product available in the market which says, this is the kind of offer that is available. So while creating the product itself, you can get all that intelligence. And not only that, instead of going to a back-end interface and create the products manually, you can ask AI to create it for you. So that becomes a life very, very easy for you. And also, that will help you in less errors. So that will accelerate your go-to-market as well. The next is about security. A lot of challenges are there. So the phishing or the spam messages, AI can help in stopping those with raising the flags on the suspicious activities happening. Now, having said that, how do we achieve that? So as a part of technology, the first thing that we do is agentic flows. So when we talk about agentic flows, these are basically elements that drive the action. So any kind of machine learning algorithms gives any kind of output that goes into agentic flows, and you can create an action. The action can be anything: raise a flag, notify a customer, create a product. There's a billing anomaly there, and you want to notify that this is a problem. So instead of customer calling to you saying that my bill is incorrect, if my AI can detect what is the problem in the bill before sending the customer bill, that will resolve a lot of problems for the CSPs. So second is troubleshooting. Now, like I mentioned earlier, if AI can help you in resolving the problems instead of you trying to solve it manually, so that intelligence comes together with today's AI, and it can pinpoint the areas where the actual problems are there. The third is about user experiences. AI can tailor the user experience or the user interfaces according to the user needs. For example, when I log into a mobile app, I do certain kind of activities every day or every week or every month. AI can automatically adjust the UIs dynamically so that the most preferred things that I do automatically comes on top. And then, of course, a lot of forecasting, a lot of what is going to happen comes directly from the AI. So whether it is your inventory forecasting, whether it's a usage forecasting, how much money you are going to collect from the bill in next 30, 60, 90 days. So a lot of forecasting capabilities comes together with today's AI. And then, of course, avatars, a very important way of interacting with the system. Conventionally, we have been talking to systems using backend. But instead of doing that, if we have a way of communicating what we want directly on the voice, that resolves so many issues. I mean, I don't have to go to backend to do all of these things. I can say, hey, AI, can you do this for me? Can you create a campaign? Can you create a product? Can you solve this problem for me? So all of this comes together as a part of the platform, and it can really, really add value to all the CSPs. Now, when we do this, how this is going to impact the customer life cycle? I mean, we all know a customer has a typical life cycle where he gets onboarded, he's in a mature phase, grows, and then probably he might leave you. So every stage of the customer life cycle, AI can add value in terms of how to do more upsell, how to do more cross-sell, how to create a right set of the user experience in its journey. So we support this by using predictive, prescriptive, as well as generative AI. And in the previous slides, whatever I talked, now that is mapped to the customer life cycle. And as you can see, at every stage of the customer life cycle, it can add value. Now let's talk about something in B2B business. Now for B2B, when we talk about how AI can add value in B2B life cycle as well. So when you go for B2B, you qualify the leads, you understand how much money can you make from this particular customer. Once the qualification is done, your B2B enterprise comes on board, and you start selling the services. Then during the journey, can you do more upsell? Can you increase the revenue from that one particular account? And how to give better service for B2B as well. So holistically, at every stage of customer lifecycle, whether it is B2B, B2C, fiber, home broadband, mobility, it does not matter. The AI can add value to all of these segments. And having said that, let's see where are we heading into. Now when we talk about what is happening in the current, you see in future what we see is in the next few years, every telco will have end-to-end AI right from the network layer till the customer service layer. So it will have full stack AI that we see in coming few years that every telco is heading into. The second thing is real-time decisioning. Now, anything and everything that you will do in future will have an AI element incorporated into it. So when AI will be there, your decision makings will be very, very fast because it will be coupled together with the intelligence that comes from the AI. Next is the large language model. Today we have seen ChatGPT, OpenAI, Llama 2, 3, 4, DeepSeek, and so many large language models coming in the industry. So these large language models will be an integral part of all of the CSPs. So right from the sales, right from the marketing, right from the consumer experience or customer service, you will see some or the other way where the large language models will be adding value to you as well as your consumers. Well, the next is a very important thing about B2B and developer ecosystem. Now, the intelligence that you will create from the BI, you would like to expose it to third parties. So AI as a service, that's what we see is going to come up very big, where your enterprises or third-party developers who are using your services will be readily, asking for you how the intelligence that you are creating today to be used by them in their application. And last but not the least, what we see is when we talk about this whole AI as an ecosystem, you will see that this intelligence is moving away from a centralized place to a decentralized. So when we talk about edge-driven networks, the intelligence will be coming near to the devices. So today, in today's scenario, what we see, AI is a centralized decision-making engine, but in near future, not very far, we see that this intelligence will be coming near to the devices where the actual things are happening. So this is what we see as a part of AI that's going to come up in near future. Very quickly, who are we? We are 6G Technologies, founded way back in 2002, being in business for more than 23 years, working with more than 150 plus telco operators in 90 different countries. And the platforms and solutions that we design are aligned with TM Forum's Open Digital Alliance architecture. In fact, we are platinum certified with them. And we do business with more than 4,000 plus enterprises as well globally. Thank you.
Again, a sincere thanks to Manoj for touching base. Just a quick house announcement. If you check your email, or better yet, if you are on the app, you will get all the details concerning the mixer for later on this evening. So when it's all said and done, we will meet up. Of course, it's a pre-registration scenario, and it's important that we wear, our Canto badge, and they will give you all the details concerning pickup time and the full works for later on. So again, I'll keep on giving some details in that regard throughout the course of the morning. I want to move on now to our next talking point, and it's to treat with monetizing the message, WhatsApp, and again, what WhatsApp took and what RCS can give back. We welcome the VP and GM of Clear Sky Technologies. Let's give a warm Canto welcome to Ron Willett.
Thank you. So as he said, my name is Ron Willett. I'm with Clear Sky. I'm also a member of the CCA board, which is a competitive carriers association in the US. So I'm on that board, and then I like to come to Canto as well. And people always ask me, what is the difference between Canto and CCA conferences? Is it the same or is it different? And I always point to one thing that is extremely different, and that is the music. So last night, it was very loud everywhere we were. I was afraid I wouldn't have a voice today. But Canto knows how to do things when it comes to music and celebration, way better than CCA. So we always enjoy coming here, and thank you guys for letting me speak. So over the last, I'd say, year, I have become pretty much an expert in RCS. So we've gone to Google, we've talked to Google, we've done a lot of things because our competitive carriers in the US are smaller. They don't get the attention from Google that they need. And so it's up to us to go and try to fight for that and get things working. And we're doing the same thing for the Caribbean as well. So we've talked to Google about getting the Caribbean carriers up and running on RCS, both for Android and for Apple, so that you guys can start participating in the revenue that comes with RCS for business. So today, as you guys know, WhatsApp is the dominant way that people communicate. In the US, I don't use WhatsApp, but I use WhatsApp to talk to my customers here in the Caribbean. If I'm coming to the Bahamas, which I do about once a quarter, anybody that I talk to here, if I'm setting up a ride, setting up a dinner, it's all through WhatsApp. And so that is the dominant force. I do a podcast called the Whiskey and Wireless Podcast, and I had Stephen Curran from Alive on that podcast, there he is, the other day. And I said, how do we claw back? How does the Caribbean claw back from WhatsApp? And, I think that's past. I don't know that there's a way to do that. You guys are using that. Everybody is very happy. But, from this podium yesterday, someone said, if you profit from the digital economy, you must help the digital expansion, right? And I don't know, you guys would know better. I'm an expert in things that I'm an expert in, but as I walk around the conference and I see all these logos, I don't see any WhatsApp logos. I don't know if they're here. I don't know if they give money back. Maybe they give money to you, the carrier. I don't think they do. But that's something that we have to work together to say, if someone's profiting from Kanto and from the carriers of Kanto, let's get some money in the pockets of carriers and maybe even some money in sponsoring Kanto. So P2P is that way. A2P and business messaging, that's another way that you guys are not getting the revenue that you deserve. And so there is a way where we can fight that. And so you think about who is a subscriber. Is it your subscriber? Is it WhatsApp subscriber? Is it Netflix subscriber? But you guys are the ones that are building the networks. You guys are the ones that are putting in the work. And so you should be profiting from your subscribers using A2P messaging or RCS or WhatsApp for business messaging. So because it's been what it's been, the carriers are kind of lost in the shift. So right now, there's a thing called the Mobile Economic Forum. And that's where all the business messaging gets together, and they have these conferences everywhere all over the world. Right now, all of them are in Toronto. That's why I wasn't in Kanto last year, because I went to that. But this year we wanted to come to Kanto, and we sent another group there. So guys like Infobib, Cinch, Cineverse, all the big aggregators right now are in Toronto, and that's fine. They have their thing. But we've talked to the Mobile Economic Forum about what about the Caribbean? Like, let's come to the Caribbean and let's bring some relevance and some more enterprises and brands to the Caribbean. So we're working on that. The head of the MEF is Dario, and we have him talking with Teresa and Kanto, and we're working on having an event where we can bring the enterprises and bring the major aggregators here to the Caribbean so that they can see the opportunity that's there. And RCS, I believe, will help us do that. But right now, no visibility into the messaging use case. So, do you know what's going on in your network to your subscribers? Do you know the enterprises, what they're spending on WhatsApp to get to your subscribers, and are you profiting from that? That's the big question, and that's the thing that we think that we can help change. So, this is kind of the WhatsApp to RCS. Right, so I don't know, maybe you guys all know what RCS is, Rich Communication Services. They've been talking about it for, 10 years or so. But it's always been a problem because Apple refused to get involved. Apple had their own thing. They didn't want to get involved in RCS. But now, last year, typical Apple, I went to dinner in Cupertino with a few people, and Apple was there, and they said, we will never let RCS on our phones and our devices because we just don't believe in the way it authenticates. We don't believe in its security, and it's not going to happen. And then 3 months later, they did a global thing saying that they were going to let RCS on all their devices. So at least I didn't pay for the dinner. But that's what happens. Things go fast and move fast. And Apple said, we are going to allow it. And once that happened, then that's when we started getting involved in saying, if it's going to work on Apple and if it's going to work on Android, then we're going to be able to go to our aggregators that we have direct connections with, and we're going to be able to get RCS for Business to come in and start making our carriers money. And we didn't want our Tier 2 and Tier 3 carriers in the U.S. to be left out, and we don't want the Caribbean carriers to be left out as well. And so you can see RCS offers all of the same things that WhatsApp offers and more. And we deliver A to P right now to the Caribbean, but we don't always do it direct. I deliver to Liberty, but Liberty doesn't have a relationship with me. They probably don't even know that I deliver to them. But we deliver, a lot of messages to Liberty through those channels. And that's what happens in the Caribbean a lot is, people find ways to get to the Caribbean carriers. I have a list that says, here's how much it costs to get to all of these carriers, and it might be me have a direct connection, which I have with a few of you. It might be in the case of Liberty, where I'm connecting with one other person who then delivers to Liberty, or it might be where I can deliver to someone who delivers to someone who delivers to someone to get to your network, right? And that's why someone might say, I'm going to charge 2 cents for every A to P message. But by the time it gets through all the stacks, right, an enterprise might be paying 8 cents to get to your network, and you're still only getting that 2 cents. You're not getting that full amount because it's got to go through each individual person. So RCS is going to cut through some of that. And the enterprises are ready. They want RCS because of that, right? They have known over the years that the Caribbean can be hard to get to. They have what's called gray routes, and they can, call someone and get to someone's brother-in-law and do this and get to the carrier. And RCS is going to cut through a lot of that, where you have to have a direct relationship with, with someone like a Clear Sky or somebody else to get to Google so that we can deliver all these enterprise messages. And so RCS is going to make the carriers the gatekeeper again. You're going to be able to know exactly what campaigns are going on in your network. You're going to be able to vet those campaigns. You're going to be able to say, hey, Clear Sky or whoever, we don't want this on our network. We do want this on our network. We don't like the way this campaign looks, because you'll be able to do all that. And you'll be able to say yes or no to all of these campaigns. We'll be able to talk about pricing. And we really need to get pricing to be all together, right? So a country charges X price, and all the carriers in that country decide, yes, we're going to do it at this price. We have to make it easy for the enterprises to come in, and that means that sometimes, right, at CCA, we don't have any carriers that compete with each other, so it's a little bit easier for us to, make things happen, I guess you'd say. In the Caribbean, there is a lot of rivalry, right? But we have to think of region over rivalry and say, okay, we're going to come together at the table and we're going to say, yes, for our country, we're going to charge X for RCS. And we'll talk about the definitions and all that. But that's really what it's going to take so that the enterprises can get interested and they can be spending a lot more money in the Caribbean than they're doing now. And you guys are only making a small amount of what you should be making on A to P right now. And the proof of that is that, that you don't see WhatsApp. Maybe they sponsor, I don't know, but I haven't seen any. You don't see InfoBib and Cinch and Cineverse here because they're getting all their stuff different ways, and it's fragmented. And someone talked on this stage yesterday about unity over fragmentation, right? And so we have to hold these people accountable and say, if you're making money off of our region, then you need to sponsor, you need to give the carriers their share of money. You need to sponsor the things that the carriers want and need. And that's why Clear Sky's here at Canto helping to sponsor that, because we do make money from carriers in this region, and we want to be a part of it and help it all grow. So the monetization model is pretty easy. If you know RCS, the enterprises initiates the verified RCS message. We work with the aggregators to say, what brands do you have? What are they interested in? And what countries are they interested in? And then they'll go in, they'll set up a campaign. We'll show that campaign to the carrier. The carrier will decide whether they want that on their network, and then the campaign will go out. We'll discuss what price it is. There'll be a recurring revenue. All the messages are billable. We'll be able to give you a report to say, this is how many messages went across your network. This is how many subscribers it touched. And this is the check that you're going to get at the end of the month. And so we share that revenue with you. We're very open about our portion of it. We're very open about Google's portion of it if we were to have a deal with Google. And then we write you a check for that. And as you can see, no third-party app. This is all you guys making money from your subscribers that are using your network the way that we feel like it should be. So most carriers haven't acted yet for a couple reasons. The biggest one that's not on there is the fact that Google has to approve a carrier, right? So Google has to say yes. So what happened when Apple got into the mix is they said, hey, we don't like the way you authenticate, so we're going to completely change the authentication process for RCS, because that's Apple. And so Google, who knows that RCS can't happen unless everybody comes together, said, okay, we'll go out and change all of that authentication process. And that's why they're going to companies like me to say, hey, can you help us with this? Because even though they're Google, they're very busy doing a lot of Google things, right? So they're working on the top tier in the world carriers, and those carriers can sometimes take a lot of time and attention. So Google said, hey, we're not going to be able to get to the tier 2, tier 3, the Caribbean. There are some places in the EU we're not going to be able to get to, so can you help us do that? And so we said, sure. So you can still wait for Google and try to get Google to send it to you directly, and then you can vet and do all the things that you need to do without someone like ClearSky, and that's fine. And I'm here to help with that too if you have questions or anything like that. And even with A2P, if you have questions about how the A2P market is working and how you could possibly get to RCS without someone like us, I'm more than happy to answer those questions and to tell you who you need to talk to and how you need to talk to them. But Google is very slow, I guess I'd say, to act right now. But they have a renewed emphasis in trying to get these carriers up and running. Unclear revenue path, right? So how do we bill for these things? What is an RCS message? So for those that don't know, you can have an RCS message that's just 160 characters. It looks just like a text message, but it's RCS. And what's going to happen there is you're going to see the company logo. You're going to be able to click on that, call the company's 1-800 number. It's all very secure. You know who it is. It's just not some random number where you're getting something and it's from a 5-digit number and you say, I don't know if this is Bahamas Air or not. I don't know if this is Delta or not. And so with RCS, you're going to see the brand logo. You're going to see the brand logo in your inbox. You're going to know it's from that enterprise, and it's going to give your subscribers a lot more trust and a lot more, they're just going to feel better. The enterprises are going to feel better because, fraud is a big thing. There's a thing called AIT, artificially inflated traffic. RCS will cut down on all of that. So we've worked out with the aggregators. We just signed our first agreement with Vibes, who's a big aggregator for RCS for business. And we talked about the definitions. There's standard definitions on what the messages are and what they can do. And so we have all that. And if you want to come by the booth or talk about that after the show, we certainly can do that as well. So we're not just doing the technical part. So the technical part's next. And that's where we do authentication with the carrier, with their entitlement server. And we can talk about what that means and what we would need to do. We also have a hosted version of that to make it very easy for you to get up and running on RCS. And so we've done the technical work, and we're doing the work for the RCS for business to get all those agreements done so that once Google says, yes, we're ready to get into the Caribbean and make it work, then we're going to be ready to go right away. And therefore the carriers will be ready to go right away. And of course, spam and all the other stuff, RCS is really going to cut down on spam and fraud, and that's really what we're trying to accomplish. And so what RCS can give back is exactly that, right? You're going to be able to know what's coming across, you're going to be able to vet the campaigns, and more importantly, you're going to be able to get a check at the end of every month to say, hey, this is because your subscribers are interacting with an enterprise. And unlike today, where I don't believe WhatsApp is giving most of the carriers a check at the end of the month, RCS is going to give you that opportunity to bring back business messaging into the carrier and put you back into the revenue stream and pay you back for all the work that you've done to build these networks, to have the customer support, and to do everything you need to do. It's going to protect your subscribers because it is a secure channel, and you're not going to be able to have a lot of, right now, there's a lot of spam in A2P right now in the Caribbean, everywhere, but even more so in the Caribbean. And so the RCS can help cut that down and really give your subscribers a better experience with enterprise and a better experience with the inbox as it comes for messaging, for enterprise messaging. And so that's really where we are, right? So if you want to do RCS with, if you want to put RCS into the market, it's coming soon. So we are talking every day with people like Google and then all of the aggregators to say, we need to get this up and running in the Caribbean. We need to have a path forward. We can do a hosted solution, or we can go right to the carrier and use their own infrastructure, but we can walk you through how to get RCS working so that when it comes and you turn it on, then RCS for Business is going to be up and running as well, and you're going to start making that money. RCS is already big right now globally. It's getting big. It's becoming even more big. Right now, AT&T 2 weeks ago just launched RCS as well. So now you have T-Mobile and Verizon and AT&T, and the campaigns that are coming in are significant, and the traffic that's coming in is significant, and more importantly, the money that the carriers are making is significant. And so it is our job to not only Clear Sky, but other people that may or may not be here, that may or may not be part of the ecosystem of A2P. It's up to all of us to make sure that the Caribbean is an equal player in the RCS for Business and the RCS game. And so I would urge all the carriers, if you have a relationship with someone for A2P, are they here? Are they meeting your needs? Are they writing you the checks that you deserve to have written? Do you know the campaigns that are coming across your network? And hold these people accountable and have them come to Canto. That's the board person in me, I guess. Have them come to Canto and be around this and see what's happening. But in the meantime, we'll continue to work on RCS. And if you guys have any questions about it, then come see Clear Sky at the booth or give me a call later. And that's my time. Thank you very much.
Again, the importance of RCS, and we want to thank you for the perspective. Touching base with us, the VP and GM of Clear Sky Technologies, Ron Willett. What I want to do again, just remind everyone about the importance of the app. Again, lots of great information there, so by all means, put yourself in a gear. And there is the attendee survey. It's live on the app, so we encourage everyone to complete the survey. And again, just a quick reminder that the networking session later on this evening, it is titled Regattas and Revelry, an island affair to remember. Again, full details via the app, and you could actually check your email. I believe lots of information was sent, so I'll keep on reminding everyone during the course of the morning about the networking session later on. Let's continue as we move to another very important talking point, AI-powered networks for island nations, smarter, leaner, more resilient. We welcome the Chief Business Development Officer, Africa and Europe for CIS, Chandahas Rana, joins us next for this important discussion, AI-powered networks for island nations, smarter, leaner, more resilient.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Chandrahas Rana, Chief Business Development Officer, Bankai Group. This is my first time in Canto AGM, and I must admit that I really like the format and this platform, the kind of digital initiatives this platform is taking to enable island nations to move up the chain when it comes to digital journey. So I'm privileged and glad to be here. And I've been here from last 2-3 hours and lots of AI. You've been stuffed with lots of AI, and AI is a buzzword. And there are many talks like robots will replace 40% of manpower, or robots would be smarter than human being in next 2 years, or by 2035, this planet would be dominated by robots or AI initiatives. But let us talk about more constructive applications or more constructive contribution of AI that can happen in telecom. And so I represent Bankai Group. It's a conglomerate, and this is just a brief overview. We are a conglomerate that has business interests more than $2 billion US, balance sheet operation in more than 40 plus countries, more than 150 plus PTTs using our technologies, be it for telco, be it for fintech, be it for AI initiatives. Then our headquarters is in US, more than 1,500 plus global manpower that operates in Bankai Group. So it's a pretty diverse, pretty big group, having great interest into telecom, fintech, or new age technologies. So these are the main technologies or domains that we operate. One is fintech. We have one of the best fintech platform used by telecom operators, banks, or government organizations for digital inclusion within their countries. Then telecom, we have our own revenue assurance, monitoring, network switching. And then on services side, we are into consulting, AI, and other initiatives. So let us directly jump to the topic. Topic is how AI is changing the telecom. So let us talk about certain numbers. It is, of course, not only telecom, every facet of life, every facet of business being revolutionized by AI. So if you talk about numbers today, AI market within telecom market size is somewhere around $11 billion US. But within next 5 years, it will increase to somewhere around $38 billion US. You see a CAGR growth of more than 25 to 30%. That's humongous. So on numbers side, AI has a business case. AI has value on the platter. So which region are the growth drivers? Of course, North America, because they always were the first when it comes to cloud adoption or AI R&D leadership. So they have that advantage with all the, we call fangs of the world in North America. So they are taking that lead. Asia Pacific is not much behind, with countries like India, South Korea, Indonesia, Malaysia. They are taking lots of AI initiatives. They have their own AI labs, almost every operator, almost every organization. And Europe, when it comes to more sustainable model for AI, or on regulation side, is taking more lead with GDPR, with customer privacy, more on sustainability side. So we see overall across globe, lots of operators, all the countries or continents are taking initiatives. This is just an overview about Caribbean. More than around 13 plus sovereign countries. And if you see the digital index of the operators, the biggest country is Haiti on population side, 10 to 11 people, over 10 to 11 million population. Overall size of Caribbean is somewhere around 40 million plus. So Haiti, Dominican Republic, Cuba, they are the biggest one, cover almost 75% of Caribbean. What is interesting is smartphone penetration, or I should say digital index. There are certain countries like Haiti where smartphone penetration still is moreover like developing nations in Africa or some Southeast Asian countries, like 40 to 45%. Then you have, Jamaicas of the world or Barbuda or all Antigua, where digital index is moreover like what we have in the first world or developed countries in west side of Europe or North America. So in very basic sense, how AI will kind of make network more leaner or more efficient. What I see, there would be 4 different facets. One is operational excellency. Of course, AI is there to help the human being. It is there to kind of how we do the repetitive stuff, not repeat human efforts on that. So on operational side, there would be lots of initiatives. Then enhanced customer experience. Like still we see lots of telcos when it comes to their digital journey. I rate them at level of 2 or 3 if the whole pyramid is at 1. So on customer experience side, AI will enable most of the operators, at least the way the FANGs are doing customer enhancement. Then new revenue streams like how to monetize the 5G. Lots of telcos are investing billions of dollars by upgrading their networks for 5G or all that. So AI will enable that. This is what we feel. Then second would be competitive differentiation. Whosoever or any operator that take any AI initiative will have, of course, a leverage over other or their competitors. So to be very specific about telecom domains, where AI will shape up the whole domain, one is, of course, network optimization and automation. Definitely, when it comes to networks are very complex. And on optimization side, lesser the human intervention, more it could be efficient. So that IC or VC will be one facet. Second would be customer experience. I already covered that. Third is fraud detection and cyber security. So imagine when you will have 5G, 6G networks across the globe. World has a population of 8.3, 8.4 billion today with more than 6 billion plus smartphones users. Imagine with IoT and 5G happening there, you will have so many fronts, so many devices at edge network level. IoT has been predicted, there would be more than 50 billion plus IoT devices connected at edge network. So see the level of security and the fraud detection that we need. So this kind of data that we need to process, of course, AI will be very helpful on that. Third is marketing and revenue management. Again, can be covered on customer experience side. Then infrastructure and planning. See, when you talk about countries, let us take an example of India. Today we have more than 1.45 billion plus subscribers. 2016, when we got that Geo movement, where one operator came with free 4G, 5G market penetration strategy, within 16 months, our smartphone penetration or smartphone numbers increased from somewhere around 300 million to 900 million. So that kind of network you need to plan, and that will happen in many parts of the world, at least I see in Africa or some part of Southeast Asia. So AI will be very helpful. Then 5G rollout and IoT, where AI will definitely shape up the world. Now I will take certain use cases where like we have taken certain initiative or we are closely working with certain operators in different part of the world. One is network optimization and automation side. What at POC level or certain project what we have seen is with predictive maintenance, network outages can be reduced by 20 to 30%. So that is one. Second is reduced downtime we see, and if downtime is less, customer trust definitely move up the chain. Third is faster time to market. With 6G, 4G, and lots of MVNO license rolled out in the world, what we see is going to market, and your faster movement to the market will be very critical for most of the operators. Customer experience, again, AI chatbots and digital agents can make AI very productive for operators. Then 40 to 80% percent of the queries can be resolved by AI agent. This is all conceptually proven with our used cases. Fraud detection and cyber security. Again, with the kind of digital enablement that we are seeing in the world today, the most important thing is digital identity and security. So there also AI has that kind of power. AI is that powerhouse that can comprehend that kind of data points, and their AI can have certain leverages over if any operator is taking AI initiatives, they will have definitely certain leverages. Marketing and revenue management, again, customer is the king. AI will definitely reduce the customer churning if we have the right marketing plan along with AI. So that will enable operators to, because market is very hypersensitive, and what we have seen in most of the markets, the average customer churning is 5 to 7% for operators. When you take big operators, big markets, for example, North America, where you have 300, 350 million plus subscribers, operators, each operator having 150, 170 million subscribers, 5% makes billions of dollars a year. So retain markets, that will give you more advantage on that. Third is customer acquisition cost. Like historically, if you see telecom, like most of the wireless revolution that started mid-90s or early 2000, the customer acquisition cost or marketing cost for telecom operators for new customer used to be around 30 to 40%. With AI, with digital footprints, what we see, it would be reduced by 60 to 80% in next 5 to 7 years. So that is, again, a massive use case where operator can take AI leverage. Infrastructure, again, it will reduce planning cost. It will enhance the deployment efficiency. And this is most important, with 5G rollout. This is the first time where what I've seen, there would be more devices connected to the network than human being. So you need machines to process that kind of data, to plan that kind of networks. So there would be also AI will definitely very helpful to the operators. These are certain use cases that we did in some island countries. One in Fiji, one is in Cook Island, one is in Mauritius. I cannot tell the name of the operator. If some of you want to discuss, we can share what exactly we did. So this is how our company can help island nations, island countries, like on different facets, like on network management side, fraud protection side, customer support side, marketing on revenue side, disaster resilience side. All these can be covered with our AI offerings, and we would be happy to engage with most of you. So I think I covered when it comes to, these are some of our clients. These are the forums we are part of. Thank you very much. And my closing note is that if you talk about AI today, this is once in a 1,000 years movement. I don't know it would be positive or negative, because lots of doom sayings are also there when it comes to AI. But the country that takes, or that the organization that take AI seriously today, trust me, those organizations will have very bright future. And already if you see, 50% of organizations are taking initiative, irrespective of telecom, fintech, whatever domain they are into. Let us take that positive, and any question, anything, I'm here for today. My team is here. And any AI query you have, we will be happy to address. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Again, a sincere thanks to Mr. Rana there, the Chief Business Development Officer. Now, quick reminder, again, it's mentioned via the app. So when it's all, at least the business side and the major discussions are over today, we get a chance to unwind, let down our hair. Well, that's not going to be my particular scenario, but we will get a chance to truly network again and relax. It's the regattas and revelry, an island affair to remember. and check the app. All the information is there. And after lunch, we will continue with some of the giveaways. The QR code will be on the screen for those who enter the conference center, who come back to the room bright and early. Let's continue with our next major discussion: how to make your video service profitable. To lead us in that regard, we welcome the VP Sales, Latin America and South America from Broad Beak. Let's give a warm canto welcome to Arnold Lanuzel. I got it correct? That's right, Mr. Lanuzel. It's all yours.
Thank you very much. So, thank you very much for staying here, first of all. It's a pleasure to be welcomed here at Canto another year. And this year, we wanted to tackle a topic that is being raised more and more among our customers: profitability of the video service. We know that on data, we know that on voice, this is not exactly the same story. But on video, some of our operators are struggling with profitability. But the good news is that there are solutions. There are ways to make the video service profitable. And we'll see that a little bit in detail today. First of all, just a few words about Broad Beak. I'm not going to be long on the company presentation, but it needs to give you a context of why we are entitled to talk about profitability. So, who we are. Broad Beak is a global leader in video delivery. We are present in 55 countries with 170 plus customers around the globe, offering on-prem, cloud, and SaaS solution for around the video delivery business, with more than 100 customers in the CDN. So CDN stands for Content Delivery Network, for those who are not aware. This is the tool to stream your content, your video content inside your network. And we are streaming more than 600 petabytes every month to more than 200 million customers around the globe. Our customers ranges from tier 3 to tier 2 and tier 1, and they are encompassing both telecom operators, ISPs, content aggregators, and content providers, more and more. We are just naming a few here: Vodafone, Deutsche Telekom, Megacable in Mexico, StarHub in Singapore, America Mobile with Claro, you may know, Liberty, Latin America, here in the region, Orange in Europe, Prime Video, Dazen, to name few, and A1 Group in Eastern Europe. The story of Broad Beak ranges from 2000 up to now, so we just celebrated our 15th anniversary with a long journey of innovation and creativity in this area, which made us successful so far, with a key milestone in 2022 when we decided to diversify our range of customers from telco to broadcasters and content providers, and we also went public in 2022. The company counts with 300 people around the globe in 23 countries, with something very interesting, that is a network operating center working 24/7 with people in the US, in Europe, and in Asia, offering managed services to the customers that wants to subscribe to it 24/7 for their video operations. This is a little bit quickly the ranges of solution, from transcoding to the origin cloud, the CDN, the analytics to go with it, player analytics, network analytics. This is so important nowadays because you can value it, multicast ABR, open caching, CDN selection, and content personalization. This is also something very important nowadays. What I want to focus on is the three specific focus you can see on the bottom of this slide. Maximize the user experience to attract and retain subs. Reduce infrastructure cost. Even if you grow your traffic, there's a way to do it, to improve the bottom line. And finally, enable monetization to drive the top line. We will explain why. So coming to our topic today, the important thing is to see how to stream at scale and monetize without limit. Is it possible? 3 ways to do it, 3 suggestions. First, optimizing your distribution costs. Second, monetizing your network. Your network is an asset. This is gold. And third, monetizing your content. Whether you're a content provider, whether you are an ISP, you have the possibility to monetize your content. We'll see how. So first, optimizing your distribution cost. What we observe, and you observed, and everybody's observing that, streaming is eating your network capacity. Video streaming is occupying more and more space in your network, whether this is your own offer, own video offer, or whether you have to welcome third-party content providers, to name few, Google, Netflix, or whatever. So this is a trend. And you know what? This is not going to end. This is going to continue exploding, whether you like it or whether you don't like it. So the best way is to try and tackle this growth on the traffic. There are many factors for that. Just to name a few, the transition from broadcast IPTV to OTT streaming, the adaptive bitrate streaming, is a trend. Operators are all moving into this migration. This has a lot of consequences for the end user, positive consequences, but this has a lot of consequences in terms of cost planning, for example, and capacity planning in your network. The end of the digital terrestrial television, whether, again, this is a trend, transmitters. I was saying recently to a journalist that in 10 years, we may have a switch off of all the digital terrestrial TV networks. But someone told me, you are too optimistic. This is going to end much earlier. In Switzerland, they announced it for the next 3 years. No more digital TV transmitters. What are we going to do? Where is this traffic going? On the internet, on your network, on the fiber networks. We just mentioned, but maybe this is science fiction here, adoption of holographic and volumetric video content for 2030. Are we prepared for that? Are the network prepared for that? Just raise the question to yourself. We are in those waves. So the challenge is scalability. Here you have 2 pictures, one from the Baku in Azerbaijan. A normal day in Baku, you can see on the left side a kind of congestion. On a weekday for Formula One, the same road, the same place, but not exactly the same way of handling the traffic. 300 kilometers per hour cars going smoothly into the streets of Baku on the same place. What happens? Something has changed in the middle. Creativity, innovation has made it possible. And this is a little bit what we can offer on your network. The other illustration of this issue is the absence, the lack of live 4K streaming today. Why is live 4K streaming not here today? Well, some reasons. UHD requires 4 to 5 times more bandwidth in your network than HD, for example. Without broadcast technology, it's much harder to squeeze through the ISP network this type of content. It's challenging and costly to stream those content with global CDN services. Very costly, 4K live streaming. And the live premium event come with high quality expectation that where you cannot fail when you're offering this kind of service to your end user. So one solution, release some pressure with embedded caches. Whether it is your own content or whether it is third-party content, you'll always have the possibility to install in your network local caches to lower the pressure on your network. This is one. I'm not going to enter into many details, but there are many ways to do it. Second, the adoption of one technology called MABR. Maybe some of you have heard about this, multicast ABR. What does it consist in? Well, it's quite simple. The highly popular content will be encapsulated into a multicast layer. You know that OTT is about one-to-one connection. We call it unicast. One request means one stream. So 10 million requests mean 10 million stream. If you have the way to encapsulate those 10 million stream into a multicast layer, you are streaming once the content to everybody. which then translates into a lot of saving in your networks. We are facing that today in 35 operators worldwide. There is a seamless, of course, transition. There is a seamless distribution to the end user. It doesn't see the difference whether it comes through unicast or multicast, because in the home network, where you encapsulate it on the head end, you will disencapsulate this multicast layer into your home. What the end user is receiving on his connected TV, on his cell phone, is a normal and standard HLS or dash stream, which is unicast. You can offload, and we are experiencing that. I can share some of the statistics from customers. Up to 90% of your traffic. From 32, we have a customer in Mexico, instead of streaming 32 petabytes, he's streaming 3 petabytes in his network. I let you imagine what it means in terms of energy saving, in terms of infrastructure saving in the network. And more live content is being streamed, so more and more peaks of traffic the operators are experiencing in the network. So this has made this technology very successful ultimately. Second thing, monetizing your network. How? Well, installing, as we said earlier, caches on your network with a value to offer. You don't charge for something that doesn't bring any value. Statistics, better quality of experience, reduce startup time, no rebuffering. All that has a value for today. And if on top of that, you can offer an interesting price compared to global CDN, well, you can attract the content providers, whether they are international, whether they are local. In Argentina, one of our customers even attracted horse race television, you know, when they have on weekends, when they are broadcasting the horse racing. Well, all types of customers. This is a multi-tenant activity, and you can charge to different actors, whether they are international or local. And you know what? Prime Video, Disney Plus are looking for solutions to reduce their cost. They have huge streaming costs worldwide. Operators can play a role here. So this is one, and we have some example where one of our customers, Telecom Italia, is having a deal with DAZN, a big player in the sport broadcasting worldwide, getting rights in many places. And they made a deal where DAZN will use the multicast ABR technology that is in the network of Telecom Italia, and they are very happy about this. This has been lasting for the last 4 years today. The other example that we have is an agreement between Prime Video and Broadpeak as a middleman to run their traffic into the Megacable network. Some of you may have heard about Megacable. This is a huge and big operator in Mexico. So those are examples where you can monetize your network. Lower your distribution cost, monetize your network, and the third part is monetizing your content. More and more operators are looking at attracting advertisers on their OTT platform. This is a natural move from broadcast to OTT, and advertisers are ready to pay for ads in the network, provided you give them some confidence. And you have to then prepare your business plan, taking into account the 4 parameters here. The workflow, is it going to be ads on live stream, on the FAST, on the VOD, on the catch-up? There are many ways to do that. The inventory you're offering the advertisers, what kind of inventory, how long, where do you want to place the ads, the application you're going to use, and the ecosystem, including the ad servers or the SSAI. Those are parameters that will condition, that will determine the cost per mile the advertiser is going to pay to place ads on your content, on your offer. Many ways for that. First, you can create new inventories to generate new revenues. So we'll see that, for example, banner ads, and we'll see what different types of banner ads. And you can also create, I would say, better value on the existing inventory. And there are ways for that as well. 2 examples with, for example, the interactive or what we call shoppable ads. So first case, with the new inventory that you can create, here are 4 examples. L banner, L shape. Some of you may have seen that already. This is starting, and this is very efficient. People are still watching their live content. They are not interrupted, but they can see an ad for a few seconds that is appearing on the side of the screen. The overlay, traditional way of inserting ads on your live TV, picture-in-picture, and finally something that is also very successful nowadays is the pause TV. The guy is making a pause while watching the content, the ad appears, and when he comes back and play again, the ad disappears. That's a way to insert ads and generate new inventories. The other case, and more recent, that we can propose, is what we call shoppable ads. Shoppable ads, you're watching the ad, you click on the ad, and you get on your smartphone, on your tablet, whatever, the content of the ad. The product is priced. We can even configure that to go on your basket in Amazon, for example, directly. This is creating a new, a better conversion rate, and these are statistics you can provide to the advertisers. This has a lot of value when you can implement that. So, in summary, I will stop here. Innovation, creativeness can make your system and your OTT service more profitable, if not already profitable. Lowering your distribution cost, monetizing your network, monetizing your content. This is important, this is possible, technology is here, is there. It is really easy to implement. Think about it, because this is worth the case as traffic is going to continue growing and growing in this new world we are living in. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lanuzel. Indeed, very impactful discussion. As we continue, just a quick program change. We will have and hear from Leslie later on. That's after the lunch session. So just 2 more to go before we break for the network lunch. And a very important talking point as we put the spotlight again on how Open RAN can transform mobile networks across the Caribbean, boosting flexibility, security, and innovation in the path towards a sustainable gigabyte society. We welcome to bring a presentation retired Rear Admiral Professor David Simpson. Professor, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much for the warm welcome. Yes, Professor. Yeah, it's so good to be back in the Caribbean. I actually spent a good part of my Navy career in and around the Caribbean, to include being stationed in Puerto Rico for 2 years, where I had the great honor of being the commanding officer of the communications station on Puerto Rico. But my remit also included the Inter-American Naval Telecommunications Network. So I had detachments from each of your countries that were a part of my responsibility. And it was so fun to be able to travel across the Caribbean and work with the service members of each of the nations to help us all communicate in better ways. So it's very exciting for me to speak to this group, because I have continued to work to try to create aspirations and elevate capabilities for youth in the nations. And I so much want to touch upon the remarks of Prime Minister Davis in our opening ceremony Sunday evening. Digital colonization can happen very quickly in a way that nations don't really recognize, that their citizens don't really recognize. And Secretary General Bogdan used the term, "a rising tide lifts all boats." But you know, that's really only if you prepare ahead of time and you've got the boats and the boats are seaworthy and you've got a crew for the boats. A rising tide also too quickly can sweep away a village, or as we know in Texas, be very devastating for a community. So as information infrastructure, intelligent information infrastructure rises all of our tides, Are we preparing for it? And it doesn't just become a phenomena for small nations. The United States woke up one day and realized we don't make radio access networks anymore. We don't have any companies that compete with Finland and Sweden and China in this area. And that led to something called the CHIPS Act. And the CHIPS Act was a program that the United States Congress and successive administrations supported to jumpstart and bring back to the Western Hemisphere manufacturing capacity, manufacturing capabilities that had drifted around the rest of the world. Within the CHIPS Act, there was an area specifically focused on telecommunications, and that's the Public Wireless Supply Chain Initiative Fund. And we were fortunate enough at Virginia Tech to partner up with a great group with Abside Networks, a very small company working to bring communications manufacturing back to the US, Fujitsu, Northeastern University, and GSMA. And what I want to do is talk about that particular project and connect it to the future in the Caribbean, because I think there's some very nice synergies. And when I presented this at the Caribbean Roundtable at Mobile World Congress, Teresa and the Cantor leadership said, please come and share this with our members. So I hope you guys will find it similarly enriching. So what is the award? The phasing of the opportunities under the CHIPS Act, the Public Wireless Supply Chain Initiative Fund, were intended first to drive activity at the research level, and so grants were given mostly to universities, to testing centers, to drive two different things, drive interoperability, performance, and security within the research and engineering, the test and engineering laboratory fabric across the country. But to second, also jumpstart cybersecurity research, and then moving that research into products in the open radio access network technology stack. The second phase sought to really spotlight the primary missing piece from the Western Hemisphere, and that's making radios for ourselves. And so it constrained the prime for the projects to open radio access network radio unit manufacturers. So the radio and the antenna combination. This is referred to in ORAN as RU, as opposed to the DU, which is the distributed unit, the CU, which is the central unit, and then underneath the CU, it connects back to the core of a wireless network. So it had to be the radio folks. And we, from Virginia Tech and Northeastern, found Abside, this little company up in Massachusetts that actually has a very rich Caribbean history. Abside was the radio manufacturer, operator, or vendor, excuse me, for something called Project Loon. Project Loon was Google's effort to bring antenna coverage up to high altitude systems, in this case balloons. And at its high water mark, it supported subscribers in Puerto Rico after one of the major hurricanes and helped Puerto Rico reconnect while the terrestrial networks were pulled together. At its high water mark, it was supporting 500,000 customers in Africa, subscribers to the network that, of course, if you're going to have a eNode be at the time up on a balloon in the stratosphere, you need it to have very good beamforming, MIMO capabilities, and ultimately it sells itself through the total cost of ownership. At the time, Google decided that's not a future for us. Google didn't want to compete with operators, but ABSide continued on and continued to refine the radio. So a very good radio partner for us. But more important to this group, it wasn't just the fact that we've got a really strong radio, a radio that was optimized for that long distance, high capacity connections with a very agile ability of the beam, but to also couple that with how do we make this more meaningful to address the challenges of regional operators. All the other teams were chasing after the large MNOs, the Verizon, the T-Mobile, the AT&T. And from my experience at the FCC, I said, you know, the challenge for us really, and the more opportunity for those ready to greenfield something new, O-RAN, would be with the regional mobile network operators. So we pulled together this concept of a consortium of the operators to help the operators address the parts of O-RAN that would be problematic for an operator deployment of this new technology. You know, if you go from Ericsson or a Nokia or a Huawei, where they just bring a great service team in, they bring the operations, one size fits all, one company, and you're off, to now say, oh, you've got a different vendor for the RU, a different vendor for the CU, the DU, and good luck with the RIC. That's not something that the smaller operators really are ready to deal with, that level of complexity. So the consortium part of the grant is working to bring in common shared capabilities among all the operators to ease the transition into O-RAN. And the exciting part about O-RAN is it's software-defined networks that go into commodity hardware. And what that should communicate to each of you is that your students, your young people that want to go into telecommunications can be the people that have all the skill sets ready to operate each of those layers. But there's an element of that is very important, right? We need to develop the human capacity of nations to be able to support that. And we need to develop a multi-vendor certification, training and certification approach so that we're no longer producing somebody who's expert in Ericsson radios or expert in Huawei radios, but we are training our young people to be expert in radios, in the RUs, in the CUs, and the DUs, and be able to stitch together multiple vendors. Because when you bring in multiple vendors, that allows you then to regularly compete in each of those layers and produce an enduring downward price pressure that is very helpful for the operators. So the operators can put more of their investment capital and more of their time and attention into providing the value-added services on top of networks, into meeting the communities where they're at, providing better capabilities. Before I leave this slide, I do want to mention one of the services that the regional operators in the US wanted to do first. Sorry about that. If I could ask the tech folks to help. Oh, no, you guys are in that mode, sorry. One of the services that the regional operators found that was most useful to them was greenfielding fixed wireless. They already had significant investment in their 4G LTE networks, but for them, the transition to fixed wireless was something that they were very interested in, having that be the start of their O-RAN journey. And so the radio partner that we had highest power in the market, very large array, and the ability with its tight sectorization to be able to have frequency reuse on the same azimuth. So you could have a town that was maybe 3 miles away, and then if you go a little up the hill, a town that was 10 miles away can be connected with the same band on the same azimuth, and that was very attractive to them for their fixed wireless market entry. And it also helped a lot, is helping a lot with the concern that some of their subscribers have about, you don't want to give up the idea of cable or the idea of fiber. Is fixed wireless really going to work for me? And they're finding that the operators are very excited about that because of its significant capabilities. But it also then pulled together that multi-layer competition, right? So we have ABSide as the RU, Fujitsu as the CU and the DU for this. We're also doing the interoperability at Virginia Tech, the testing between Ericsson, Nokia, other combinations, Mavenir, of RU, CU, DUs, so that within a given operator's network, you're not constrained to one partner at a given layer, but can have multiple partners, or all one if you want. The ARPU reduction with O-RAN is so significant that it's a very compelling reason to want to move forward with that. So this is what that antenna looks like, and you can see on the left-hand side that same azimuth reuse of the antenna bands supporting two different communities at a very distant range for the last community. We are seeing with our partners, and Union Wireless is where the first installs are going. They're in Wyoming and the Dakotas and the surrounding states. They are reducing the number of sites that they thought they were going to have to support by 30% because of the higher power of the radios and the strong beamforming from the advanced antenna units. So that lower deployment density, agile full band support is driving down lower sustainment costs. The consortium itself is intended then to not only achieve the lower ARPU from the utilization of software-defined radios up and down the stack, but to then also bring the power of competition on top of that 30% ARPU reduction so that over time the costs go further down because of the ability to have vendors compete for the service in a meaningful way, not waiting for every 10 years when you have a decade-long refresh of your infrastructure, but because it's software, it's part of this agile development, right? We call it DevOps. And in DevOps, you're delivering a minimum viable product, and then every 2 to 6 weeks, you're changing the code. And it's that kind of introduction of new functionality in O-RAN deployed radio that is so exciting for operators, because you don't have to wait until the next G to begin to take advantage of many of the value-added services. In addition to the benefits of the consortium handling the complexity of the deployments is the ability to have vendors then pre-qualify their products within the consortium so that once you have the testing done for a particular combination, ABSide Fujitsu, or ABSide Mavenir, or Mavenir ABSide, that pre-qualification is then reused among the operators within the consortium. We're at the point now where we're just standing the consortium up. It's intended to be operator driven with the governance by the operators, for the operators, of the operators, and we'll be establishing on-ramp and off-ramp criteria for vendors as well as the larger ecosystem around operations. The funding comes from NTIA, but we are also working with GSMA as a key partner for the proposal. And GSMA is helping us develop then an integration handbook for O-RAN deployment, templates, if you will, that would be extended not just from the US market, but into the Caribbean, into Latin America, and ultimately globally. So for the Caribbean, I mentioned Union up in Wyoming. In Puerto Rico, our partner is Liberty, and we will have a couple installations in Puerto Rico to bring the O-RAN capabilities alive for 5G in that area. We just received permission to add an operator in Bermuda, Paradise Mobile. And what's exciting about Paradise is they were a greenfield for O-RAN. So they've been O-RAN since their inception, but they're a Mavenir stack with Mavenir at the RU, CU, and DU. And NTIA was very excited about this addition because it gives us the opportunity to now have Mavenir RUs interoperate with Abside RUs, and Mavenir CU-DUs interoperate with Fujitsu and with our Ericsson and Nokia. So we're already seeing in the planning and build and testing stages the benefits from that. The first antenna installations will happen a year from now in Union in the first quarter up in Wyoming, but then we'll follow in the Caribbean after that. In addition to the radios themselves and that multi-vendor approach, we're very focused on development of the regional O-RAN workforce. And Virginia Tech has a good partnership with UPR Mayaguez, which is a fantastic electrical engineering program that we think is a good model to then be extensible across the nations in the region, so that partnerships with your universities that have strong EE programs or ECE programs can be a part of that workforce development piece. We, under the grant, expect to build some app-based tools to help accelerate that learning and not just focus on the engineers, but also the business colleges where I come from are provisioning diagnostics and demand-side focus. And finally, the last part is another partnership with GSMA. It's to bring that app ecosystem alive. And the follow-on proposal or funding opportunity from NTIA focuses not on the radios or the O-RAN stack, but focuses on the industry verticals, precision agriculture, smart cities, EMS with our partner GE, and drones with another partner. And we're very excited about using those proposals to drive O-RAN capabilities into enterprises and critical infrastructure sectors. Part of that also is CAMRA, the Open Gateway Initiative by GSMA. This slide I won't go into great detail on, but just suffice to say the disaggregation of the technology stack for the RAN opens up the information of all the interface traffic and the key performance indicators for the radio network itself that then can be made available into a microservices architecture with your IT and your OT to then, through the IPs, generate desired changes, processes within IT OT systems that benefit from the indicators within the radio network. And the other way around as well. If you want to achieve something in your IT and your developing IoT landscape and have it influence how the RAN works, then that back and forth comes alive through the CAMRA APIs. We are researching for GSMA what that means for the next generation of public safety communications, taking that concept into NG911, into 112, as those public safety communications networks become smart. How are the smart elements of public safety communications benefiting from the fact that we've cracked open what was before a proprietary stack and now made those interfaces available to draw conclusions about a public safety need and then either manage the network or manage the response within the emergency services IP networks to help save lives. We're doing the same thing at Virginia Tech with looking at those indicators and having those indicators be part of the behavioral analytics that will allow us to improve how we do cybersecurity. There's a concept called zero trust. Well, zero trust is a goal, right? Do we ever get to zero? But it relies on many, many measurements throughout an IT or OT system. And so those measurements become part of a behavioral analysis that says, something ain't quite right, and I need to do some more analysis to see if that's an attack, if that's malware, if that's an adversary in the system. And our research at Virginia Tech with GSMA is looking at how that can be applied first to counter fraud within wireless telecommunications. I won't go into all of these, but just suffice to say we have a very robust slate of research ongoing in the area at Virginia Tech. A couple of these, the hybrid networks between terrestrial networks and non-terrestrial networks, getting those to work together for operators, improved spectrum utilization, and then quantum risk enablement and AI. What can Canto do? Well, we would love to continue to work with Canto, provide research recommendations for the project, give us ideas for how the WOA consortium can better support your operators, introduce additional operators. The NTIA, the Department of Commerce, has been very encouraging with us to add additional operators under the existing program. Advise new regions or markets, and then build upon the success of the consortium to then take that out into the non-telecommunications verticals. And finally, help us on that public safety set of communications. Thank you very much, and I look forward to talking to you all.